Alright guys, we are finally back. We've had a long break, we've missed this, we've had the event last week at Everything Electric, which we'll cover off in a moment, and we're now back. Guys, if you are new to this, my name is Roland and I essentially cover a series called the EV Weekly Wrap. I'll essentially either publish this on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and the intent is to have one place where I document all of the EV news across Australia and sometimes across the world as well, all in one video as a recap. So if you guys are new to this, there will be all of the chapters that you can click on down below on YouTube, and yeah, totally open for feedback in terms of how you guys like this and the future of this, where we want to steer this. So yeah, I'll stop blabbering, let's jump straight into it, shall we? So yeah, this week there isn't so much news actually. So you can see there's only 8 manufacturers that we've got up over here on the right hand side, and one of them, obviously the 9th one, is Everything Electric. So I actually just wanted to start off with the first one being Everything Electric, and that was just a recap from last week. So as you guys may know, last week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had the Everything Electric show in New South Wales. There is one later this year, I think in Melbourne as well, but this was New South Wales. I essentially had a big video, 2 hours long, guys, close up of all of the new cars that we hadn't seen here yet since the last EV show, which was back in October or November. So I'll leave a link in the description below and up here if you guys want to see that. Go check that out. Again, that's also got a lot of chapters there. If you want to look at the specific car, just click on that time code and it'll take you directly there. Alright, now onto the news. One of the big pieces of news over the week was the Geely EX5. So obviously the marketing team there have done an amazing job, because up until the announcement it was going to be a few $1,000s more based on the speculation. So they have released an extremely sharp price, $40,990 before on-road cost and $44,990 for the top spec Inspire. So that $4,000 difference, what do you guys get there in that difference? I've actually taken the list from Car Expert, and it's down over here. So for $4,000, that's all the extras that you get. Otherwise, if you actually look here on the left side, there's just a little bit difference in terms of energy consumption, probably because of the wheels, because I think from memory you've got different wheels. Yep, you can see there, 19-inch there and 18-inch up here. Otherwise, the cars are pretty much exactly the same, guys. 160 kilowatts, 320 Newton meters of torque, the front-wheel drive. The battery size exactly the same at just over 60 kilowatt hours. Charging speeds, all of that, all exactly the same. So really, for $4,000, you get the stuff that is down here on the bottom right. And is it worth it? Look, in my personal opinion, for $4,000, and yes, you got to add on-road costs, so it's a little bit more than the $4,000. Ventilated seats and front massage seats for $4,000. My personal view. Oh, and sorry, also the heads-up display. Those three are worth the amount already. That's my personal view. I respect you guys' decision if you think that's totally not worth it, but I just feel like it helps add that little bit extra enjoyment when you're driving. The big thing as well is front massage seats for a $4,000 option is almost unheard of. Prior to this, you would have seen massage seats in cars that are definitely in the past the $100,000 mark. So it's fantastic to see that at this entry point, pretty much one of the cheapest medium-sized SUVs that are out there, to have massage seats at under $50,000 drive away. It's probably about $47,000, $48,000. That is absolutely amazing. So Geely, you have absolutely hit the nail on the head in terms of pricing. I hope to get my hands on one day, so then I can give you guys, I guess, my honest thoughts. But overall, that's the news. Just under $41,000 and just under $45,000 add on-road cost to that. And if you pause the screen here and you want to have a look, that's everything you guys get as a part of the car. So let's get moving on to the other news. So the Kia EV3 pricing was also released this week. Pricing is, I guess, not as sharp as the Geely. You can see the prices all down over here. So you've got the RRP, which is all across here. You've also got drive away pricing except WA. Then you've got drive away pricing in WA as well. And then for ACT, drive away pricing is available for Air standard range only, which is this one. I'm not too sure why. That's all I could find. Now, in terms of key differences, I guess you can see that this table probably breaks it up pretty well for you guys. The downside to this compared to some other vehicles is that there is no all-wheel drive. You've essentially got all of them are two-wheel drive single motor, and then you've basically got 3 variants, which is Air, Earth, and GT line. And then in the Air, you've got the standard range and the long range. Then for the Earth and the GT line, they are long range only. So that's probably the key differences. The motor, as I said, exactly the same. They're all 150 kilowatts. You do also have different alloy wheels or different wheel designs across the range. And you can also see here that you get about 436 WLTP range in the Air standard, 563 in the long range Earth and GT line. And the main reason why that over here is less than the long range over here is most likely because 19-inch alloy wheels, a lot heavier, a lot less aerodynamic, and obviously something that you got to give up, right? So something's got to give up. It's something that you're going to have to give up, I guess, if you want looks. You're going to give up range. That's just physics, right? So if you want bigger wheels, you want something that looks nicer, you are going to have to compensate that, and the thing that does, I guess, take a hit is going to be your range. And it's the same thing in all cars as well, guys. So yeah. Anyways, what do you guys think of the pricing? Do you think they've hit the nail on the head? Do you think it's way too expensive, or do you think it's way too cheap, which I highly doubt? I think all signs are actually pointing to a higher price than what they would expect, especially being launched or announced in terms of pricing around the same time as the EX5 that we've just covered off. However, these cars are totally different target markets anyway, so let's talk about the rest of it. So the EV3, it is going to be coming into dealerships apparently later this month. You can see all of the standard pricing over here, RRP. Now this car, unlike some of the other Kia models, is actually a 400 volt architecture car. It is based on the eGMP platform, it is not the 800 volt. The one new thing that they are bringing to this car though, which I would probably say probably will make the car actually drive pretty well, is the introduction of the new iPedal 3.0 adjustable regenerative braking system. Now, I've got a copy and paste snippet over here, so let me read to you guys what that actually means. So the iPedal 3.0 enables one pedal driving that adjusts the level of regenerative braking according to your preference to maximize efficiency. Conveniently, iPedal 3.0 settings will remain after restarting the vehicle, and the system can also be operated in reverse. That is absolutely fantastic. I have always wondered why in the Kia Hyundai Genesis cars that whenever you switch to one pedal driving, you switch off the car, you go back, or you put it in reverse, you go back, the settings all reset. So they finally fixed it, guys. That's it was I guess a first world problem, but it just kind of got a little bit frustrating. You kind of give up on it after a while, but either way, it's coming to get fixed. Other changes here, comfort and convenience features across the range include Kia Connect, which is, I guess, the phone app to manage your manage the car or to check the car stats while you're away from the car itself. You've got OTA updates, which is over the updates. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, phone charging, V2L, including the connector kit across the range. So that's fantastic. Now, obviously, this is something that I'm really looking forward to driving, so you guys will have to wait until I get my hands on it. And yeah, that's about it for Kia. So let's move on to something else that's a bit more controversial. Mercedes-Benz G580, or the G-Wagon, essentially. So this is actually, if you haven't noticed over here, this is the EV version. And you'll also see for the, I guess, Mercedes enthusiasts or the G-Wagon enthusiasts, no exhaust pipes on the side. There is no big AMG badge, no V8. The big motor twin turbo is all gone. So what do you guys get then? What do you guys get? You guys get a whopping still 432 kilowatts with over 1000 Newton meters of torque from 4 motors. You got a massive battery, 116 kilowatt hours, offering up to 567 kilometers of range. You do have tank turns, or G-turn capability as they call it, and I did see in one of the videos on social media, it does do G-turns actually pretty quick. And it's also got a revised design, 850mm weighting depth, and advanced MBUX, which is Mercedes-Benz User Interface Tech, and it starts at $249,900 MRLP, which is essentially retail price. Now, that is an absolute lot of money, but what you guys need to know is that's probably around $100,000 to $200,000 less than pretty much the V8 G63 or G-Wagon performance versions or petrol equivalents that's out today. So at least they haven't tried to pitch the car higher. It is still a very, very expensive car. and I guess I've got questions on how it's going to drive, because it's obviously heavier than what the original G-Wagon was, considering the batteries. So who knows, we'll have to see. So it's apparently you can get these sometime really soon. They may potentially already be in the country, so watch this space, guys. If you see a G-Wagon and you don't hear big rumbling sounds coming from it, it potentially could be this G580, which is an EV. So yeah, that's about it. Anyways, we've got more Mercedes news, so let's jump on. Mercedes-Benz CLA. So it seems to be the week of Mercedes for news. So yeah, what can I say? The CLA is finally going electric. There is a caveat though. The CLA, whilst this is the third generation of CLA, it is going to be launched globally as an electric vehicle first, and then a mild hybrid petrol version is going to come later. There is no pricing or any other details besides what you guys see on the screen here. In terms of when is it coming to Australia, we're supposed to expect it the second half of 2026. So what does that mean? That means we're probably at least 15 months away. Now, some of the ones that, or some of the details that probably caught my attention was 2-speed drivetrain. Now, obviously, that's going to be better from an efficiency standpoint when you're doing the higher speeds, and potentially from a performance side of things, it's going to help you accelerate faster when it switches into that second gear. Now, there's not many cars off the top of my head that have 2 speeds today. 2 of them, which essentially are the same chassis that I'm aware of. One is the Audi RS e-tron GT, or the e-tron GT, and the Porsche Taycan. Those are the only 2 with the 2 speeds that I can recall off the top of my head. If I've missed anything else, feel free to correct me, drop it in the comments below. We're all here to learn. Otherwise, the 2-speed has caught my attention. The other thing that caught my attention was this max DC charge rate is nuts. 320 kilowatts. That is absolutely amazing. Now, obviously, we haven't got all the chargers in Australia that are capable of charging at 320, but it's good to see that this car, whilst it's not expected to be here for another 15 months, that they're thinking about the future. They're pushing out these big DC charge rates. So when this car comes, hopefully it lives up to the name and it can actually hit the 320 or close to the 300 mark, so that it doesn't seem like a letdown for what Mercedes is trying to sell. But yeah, 250 plus with EQ technology is a two-wheel drive car, and then you've got which is rear-wheel drive, and then you've got the CLA 350 4MATIC. So 4MATIC is the giveaway, which means that it's all-wheel drive. Now, as I said, there's no pricing confirmed on any of this yet, so let's take some guesses. My guess on the CLA 250 with EQ technology, so you look at the general specs, it's a 200 kilowatt car, it's got a pretty big size battery for a car of that size at 85 kilowatt hours, rear-wheel drive, 320 kilowatts DC charge rate. I'm going to say that this car is going to be roughly $85,000, and then I'm going to say this one's probably around $95,000. So take your guesses, guys. Let's have a guess and see how close can we get to the pricing. So my guess, $95,000 Australian dollars, of course. And yeah, put your guesses in, and hopefully I'll remember that I've recorded this video, and we'll jump to this sometime in the future. Okay, let's keep moving on. Next we have Xpeng G9. So guys, you may be aware that Xpeng currently obviously has the G6 that is running around Sydney roads already. People have picked them up, people are driving them. We also then do have the Xpeng X9, which is the people mover, just about 5.3 meters roughly, luxury people mover. And then there's also the Xpeng G9. So the G9 and the X9 have been confirmed for Australia. In terms of when, we don't know yet. Hopefully sometime this year. However, before we even have the G9 here, they have already announced a facelift. How crazy is that? That's how quick China is pretty much working. So we haven't even got the previous G9 that we've seen at some of the auto shows or the EV shows around Australia, and now here's a new one. So it's crazy. And based on what the chairman says, so I've written some notes over here, this 2025 Xpeng G9 contains 66 upgrades, including the next generation Turing AI intelligent driving system. Some of the new things that you get here is electric suction door, automatic tailgate, 20-inch 5-spoke rims, and you will also be able to choose what they call a Black Warrior version, which is essentially sort of like a blacked out edition, similar to what you see essentially in the picture, except where the chrome bits are it's going to be essentially black. Now, some of the information around its new Turing AI intelligent drive system developed by Xpeng. It says here, it does not require a LiDAR. Instead, there are 26 sensors throughout the vehicle, 11 cameras, 3mm wave radars, and 12 ultrasonic radars. So according to the official introduction, the visual perception distance has been increased by 125% compared to the previous generation. The recognized speed increased by 40%, and both dynamic and static obstacles can now be accurately identified. Look, that is pretty amazing based on reading that, but I'd be keen to see it in action in terms of the old versus new. So hopefully when this comes out actually overseas, we'll start to see some of those videos comparing the old with the new, and then we'll, I guess, be in for a treat when the car actually comes to Australia. Either way, I'm not going to read through all the specs over there, but feel free to pause the screen and have a look and compare all of that. There was a whole bunch of specs listed, so I pretty much had, I think it was Google Gemini, or maybe it was Copilot, but it helped to mash all of this together in this one table format, so it's easy for you guys to digest. So as I said, pause it here if you guys want to have a look, but basically there's two key variants with different size batteries that you could get, which essentially means different range for your driving. But yeah, that is the Xpeng G9. Let's keep moving on. Next we have the BMW iX3. Now this is their new class, as they call it. I think that's their new concept of vehicles. There's no specific information on when this car is going to come, what specs it's going to be, or anything like that. These are just leaked pictures, or spotted pictures I should say, of what's to come sometime in the future. So yeah, pause the screen there. If you guys like it, let me know. If there's any further thoughts, or if there's any other information you guys actually know that I may not know, drop it in the comments below, because as I said, we're all here to learn, and it's great to see people share information. But that's essentially, supposedly, the new BMW iX3. Now me personally, when I first looked at the front, I actually thought it would be a Mercedes-Benz. The back definitely looks like a BMW though, but again, that's just my personal opinion, so let me know what you guys think. Alright, let's jump to the next spotted one, the Genesis GV90. So this is expected to be a really big car, 3-row SUV from memory, a very luxurious SUV at that. No other details yet. It's only spy shots. People say that it's the Genesis GV90. There are renders online, which I haven't brought to you guys today because I'm not too sure how close they are to the real thing. But this has been spotted in the wild. So this is the GV90. There is no confirmation it's going to come to Australia as yet. But as I said, as always, when I find out more, I'll make sure I let you guys know. Alright, let's talk Tesla. Now I know Tesla's... I'm speechless about it actually. We're not going to talk about anything from the political side. Just want to talk to you guys about the V4 Superchargers. So there's been news. So thanks to ARM on X, 300 kilowatts for some V4 sites has been spotted. So you can see this first picture over here, 300 kilowatts at Campbelltown, 300 kilowatts at Bankstown, and also at Alexandria. Here is a picture on the side of the supercharger, and the zoomed in screen over here is essentially this one here and this one here. So it gives you the general details on what you need to do and what the cost is if you were going to plug in and charge. And then once you're done, it says here, monitor your charge session in your vehicle. Now, what does that actually look like, and has anyone been able to charge successfully? Never fear, Bo is here. Thank you, Bo Giles from X, for sending these pictures through, or actually not really sending it to me. I've just pinched it off X. So thank you very much for posting and sharing the fact that it works. So you can see over here, you've got scan QR for receipt. You've got the details over here in terms of the cost. And then you've got the session over here that's going on. So we have confirmation that it works, and Tesla superchargers, whilst previously was 250 kilowatts max, it now looks like it's been boosted to 300. So watch this space. There's potentially going to be more of these in the future, I presume. What we don't know is, did they need to change any parts in them, or is it a software update on their end just to enable it, and maybe it was a strategy that they wanted to enable in 2025 as opposed to before. But that's all we're going to talk about for the Tesla superchargers and for Tesla news. We're now on to the last piece of news for the week. the ZEEKR 007 GT. So I actually covered this exact page off towards the end of last year, I think it was. Either that, or maybe it was earlier on in January. Either way, this is the new render, or this is the new ZEEKR 007 GT in terms of what it's going to look like. Absolutely amazing car. I'm not going to talk about the specs on the screen because I've done it before, so if you guys want to look, pause it here and have a look. There is no confirmation for Australia for the 007 in general, so we're not too sure. What we do know is the 7X is coming, which is essentially 007 as an SUV. So that's coming, but no specs, no cost, anything at all. The news this time round is the interior pictures have actually just been posted earlier on today, or maybe it was yesterday. Here they are. Pause the screen there if you guys want to take a look in a lot more detail, but that's essentially going to be the interior of the 007 GT. I think it is absolutely amazing. It looks awesome, and if it comes here, a nice sleek fast wagon. What more could you want? What do you guys think? Do you guys like the interior? Do you think it's horrible? Yeah, totally open to your thoughts. Anyways, that takes us to the end of the weekly wrap. So first one since I think end of Jan. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys actually stayed through it for the entire thing. If you did, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, open to feedback on how you want me to kind of run all of these. At this point in time, I am dedicated to cover EV content only. Sometimes there may be one or two, I guess, hybrids if I feel like it's worth mentioning, but for the most part, it's going to be pure EVs. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys are well. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you soon. Take care.